Welcome to another episode of Wake Up and Live with Bob. Um, Jamaicans living in prime real estate areas like Palm Beach in Florida are sometimes investing, like most other people, in long term properties that they will pass on to their families, will stay as family heirlooms or, just of great value to their family. Um, but in light of recent developments, though, it is important that we do understand how things are actually unfolding now. For a very long time, the Republican Party, the conservatives in the United States have, fooled people into thinking that there's no global warming. They've always been telling you, oh, there's no climate change, that's nonsense. Um, Only to now find ourselves in a situation where we're actually, starting to, in a quiet panic as to how are we going to actually deal with this situation. All right. So what we now see in areas like Florida, you'll have, and I'll pan around a little bit just to show you the area. Um, this is West Palm Beach, beautiful West Palm Beach, prime real estate properties, constantly developing. If you, if you can see out there, straight out there, you'll actually be looking directly at the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. Yes, that Donald Trump. He actually lives out there, actually there now. I just passed over there and saw that. Yeah, so this is what the area actually looks like. But if you lived here, perhaps some maybe longer than now, you'll probably realize that these areas used to be shallower, much more shallower waters. What has been happening over a period of time, there's been a steady sea level rise, and that is posing a major problem to to people who've invested a lot in real estate in these areas. Now, what some of the effects that we perhaps are less familiar with is, the or more familiar with rather, is the violent hurricanes that we've been experiencing in the state. Violent hurricanes causing billions of dollars of destruction. All right. We see massive tornadoes that are so wide that they're destroying two, three, four, five towns at the same time. We see deadly flood rains. My God, we've seen flood rains in the Midwest that are unprecedented. We see the warming of sea temperatures, so warm that it's killing off some of the aquatic life in its waters. And we see a lot of cold water fish can't live in these waters anymore because they have to go find cooler water. We see also raging forest fires in out west California, Oregon, those places, and more non-traditional areas. We see them on the East Coast quite a bit now. We see them in Florida also. Georgia, the Carolinas. Um, we see killer mudslide. When the forestation kind of peel off a little, the land starts sliding because the environment is not conducive to growing certain plants that normally holds the soil together. We see the deforestations and species dying out, and we see the rising sea levels. This is one example of rising sea levels. We see in Miami, for example, where sometimes during the daytime no rain is falling, and the streets is full of seawater with sea fish swimming in there. In some parts of the roads, fish come up through the drain, onto the streets, and are swimming. When they die off, it leaves a really polluted, very stink smell all over the place. So we have to make sure that when we are now we're understanding what's happening. If you're buying properties here and you are perhaps let's say someone from the Caribbean, a Jamaican for example, make sure when you're buying properties you are not looking too much towards the waterfront properties, because the water is now rising and they're now thinking of how to build seawalls to contain these possibly mitigate these possible effects from the water. Now they're not making a big fuss about it, because here is the big thing now. All these properties which are worth billions of dollars now are the that are actually worth billions now have to be transferred to someone. All right, because the rich is not going to actually sit by and watch their investment go down. So they now are going to quietly transfer those properties over to poorer people eventually. And so they're not making a big fuss about it. So we have to be completely aware of what's happening, keep our eyes open, understand buy properties where you see there's no possibility of flood occurring, sinkholes, all those things. Those are huge problems that are coming from the rising of the sea level in Florida, because the bedrocks in Florida is a very porous type of rock. Like it's more like coral reefs. So water seeps up just about anywhere. If you dig a hole just about anywhere in Florida that is about 4 feet deep, water is going to full that thing. So, um, so the idea here is watch out for waterfront properties that are too low, that in 10, 20 years you may have problems, some high rising of sea level, and watch out for people trying to offload waterfront properties on you for cheaper than they you can tell sometimes when these properties are going for cheaper than you actually think they are. You can know you're not getting a good deal when it looks like the money part of it looks like a good deal. All right, so yeah, so just want to give you that quick heads up. The sea level rise in Florida is actually a real thing. In many cities, water is actually coming up in regular non-rainy days. Water is actually coming up on the streets with fish in the streets. So, again, buy your properties, invest in your properties for long-term benefits, but watch out for the waterfront or possibly waterlogged properties. Thanks again for watching Wake Up and Live with Bob. If you haven't yet done so, please like, share, subscribe, and tell someone about my channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll leave you with the sights and sound of part of downtown West Palm Beach. Thanks again for watching.